So try to solve this ordinary differential equations based on this equation given to us, dy over dt, which is mean the differentiation. The equation is t cubic minus 2y divided by t. For the boundaries is given to us, so many of you will ask what's the boundaries. Yeah, the t is, it's between 1 and 3, so less than 3 or equal, bigger than 1 or equal. With y is equal to 4.2 at t is equal 1. So when you substitute the value 1, you get the answer for y is equal 4.2. So use the code ODE 45, very important. Function to solve this. Create a script that solves the equation for y over the given range of t, plots y against t for the given range. And we try to post your scripts here. So let's go to MATLAB. Just remind me, the first thing we start with, what do we type? Since I cleaned already my workspace, I have cleaned my command, but it's always recommended to start with a clear and CLC. So to clear whatever things is on my command window, and clear is to clear my workspace, and CLC to clear my command window to make it free and empty from any things. Now, the first thing is known to us. y1 is equal to what? 4.2. Where did I get this from? Because at t is equal 1, what's the value of y? 4.2. So this is information given to us, and we try to find it. Now, something we learned today is t underscore span is equal to what? 1. And I want you to explain this to me, and then when we try it, 0.1, and then 3. Let's try to see. So what does mean that script? So we're moving from 1 to 3 with a step of what? 0.1, 0.1. So 1, 1.1, 1.2, 1.3 till we reach to 3. How did I get that? Now you ask, where you based on what's given to me in a condition. We know that this t is changing between equal or bigger, so that's why I started from 1, and then I stop at 3 because it's equal or less than 3. So we write this in the comments. So t from 1 to 3, and in increments of 0.1. So that's why we explain what we're trying to do for the t-spin. Now, the function we try to use, let's define the function. I always need to write it down to make sure I'm writing the right. So dy over dt is equal to what? Squares, make sure to use them. T to the power 3 minus 2 times y, close the brackets, divided by t. So this is the main function we're trying to solve. Now, another information given to us, when 1 equal or less than t and smaller or equal to 3. So I write my equation and kind of my boundary conditions. So this represents for me the boundary conditions for this question. Now, how many information do we have here in this function? We have t and y. We need to introduce the code ODE 45. Something we learned today, we use this sign, right? And you see it. As soon as I write code 45, what's it showing you? It's giving you an information what we expected to enter. So it's kind of a good hint and direction for us what we should have here. So what we should have, so add code, let's call it ODE like DA test, like similar to what is given to us. And then what we have, t underscore span. And the information given to us is the y1, because that's something is given to us earlier. I don't need to display that, therefore I don't want to show it in my solution and results. If something is wrong, again, MATLAB will try to hint for us later when we click the run, and we'll say, hey, something wrong, and we can revise it every time. Now, plot. We want to plot to achieve the second part of this question, t and y, of course. So this, if you write the comments here, plot t versus y on a graph. Now, to plot, we need to label. Always we learn, I want to know what is my x-axis, what's my y-axis. So x label t. I will have t values on the x-axis, on the horizontal. And do I know the units? No, I don't need to bother myself. At the moment, I don't have any information about this equation. Just assume it is math. Okay, but if there were units, velocity, acceleration, so you can write square brackets, the units for that something. So at the moment, we don't have units. What's the y label? Will be y. See, it's indicating for me something is wrong I have done. So it's good. So I'm trying to correct every time I go through it. So x label, y label. I put all the information I want. I want to use a grid because I want to show my information. Grid on. So that will help me to subdivide my graph to a grid. Now, I want to have a title for this drawing. Title. I will call it ODE T versus Y. You can call it anything you want to call it. It's your choice. But at the moment, this is the information given to me. Now, save to make sure everything is safe. I call it ODE file, run, and it's telling me something is wrong. What do you reckon is the wrong here? Let's check. Undefined function variables ODE debts. What's wrong with this function? Something undefined here. So if we go line 7, something wrong in this line 7. What do you reckon is the wrong thing in this line? So you mean the equation, we didn't use it yet. So we haven't even solved the equation. So do I need to put the equation so the software can understand how when solving it? Is that what we're doing? Can we do that? Still we have a problem in line 7. Something is undefined in line 7. So can you tell me what is the thing we haven't defined in line 7? Do we have I defined the function itself? So is the function is already defined? What's missing here? I don't have any definition for the function itself. Do you see it? That's one of the things. So we need to define the function to make it obvious for us to work. So what's missing here is how can we make this function to work, because at the moment is not linked to anything. So how can I make this function it's readable? So after we did the plot and title, can I introduce the function now? How can I introduce it? Function. What's the name of that function we want to call it? Give it a name. Any name. dy divided by dt. Okay? Or dy dt, whatever you want to call it. Now, equals to what? See, at ODE. So my function will be at ODE. So what we should use here, ODE, right? Underscore what I call it? Where did I get this from? Do you see the connection? Exactly. So you could name this anything you want to name it, but I need to link between them. So when I highlight that, is reading it now. Okay, what are my inputs for this function? I have two inputs, t and y. Close the function. Now, what's next? dy dt is equal to what? I need to type the equation. So what's the equation will be? Since I typed the equation, what do I need to do? End. Now, if you look carefully, is that defined function or not yet? Again, something I need to revise. Like, is it missing now? No, it's all good. We click on run, and then the solution will be done. Very easy, very straightforward, and then you try it in a way you show the information. Now, again, if I want to improve my plot or my diagram, I can work on the t, for example. Let's say t was in seconds, for example, in seconds. So I put square brackets, and y would, for example, was in meters, for example. Just an example I'm saying, not necessary. And then I save, and then run, and then I get the answer and displaying my units. So I got the title, ODE, t versus y. You have the t represented from 1 to 3. I'm moving about step of 0.1 every time because that's information. And then my y is from 2 to 6 based on the information I'm getting. I needed to introduce the function so the software can calculate the function at the end of the solution. Because without the function, the software will not understand what we're doing. And that's part of the script we're trying to achieve today. So is it clear? Do you have any questions? Now, again, when we finish the scripts, what we learned, we go to publish, edit publishing options, change the output file format from HTML to PDF, and then publish. We get a PDF file so we can upload to Moodle. So please try to do every time the step, and you get something like this, a very nice PDF file, one page, displaying your answer plus the plot or the diagram we're trying to achieve. Grid on, by the way, grid on is adding to me that's grid here on the diagram. So if I want to display everything by grid on, because it's very easy to find the points when you find when the value of t, for example, is 2, what do you think the value of y? You can find it based on the grid. Very easy and more precise. All right, so that's all for this exercise.